It's a little warm down here in the dirty south today. Just a little bit though. What's going on, everybody? So I just got back to the house. I went to town. It literally only took me about 30 minutes to go to town, grab some oil, and come back to the house here. I was gonna get started on my daddy C10 here, you know, drain the old oil out of it, put some fresh oil and whatnot in it, and see if we can get her hooked up good enough to go down the road. And when I left the house here, everything was dry, hadn't rained none today or anything like that. Get back to the house, and it's done come a downpour since I've been gone. All this right here, all that was dry. Every bit of it was dry 30 minutes ago when I left. Now the sun wants to try to break through after it's done come a downpour and got the ground all soaking ass wet. So might have to wait another day on the C10 once again, because I ain't crawling in that daggone mud. And even with a couple of tarps laid down in that crap, you still gonna get soaking ass wet. So sorry guys, probably gonna have to wait at least another day or two. It is what it is, but I ain't crawling around this crap. I guess I could pull it up under here, but yeah, I don't know. Finally had a couple of days of sunshine, so it's nice and dry out here finally. So got a little bit of oil filter, about to get the oil changed on daddy C10 here, and see what it's gonna take to try to get this thing down the road for the first time. I might have to rob some parts off my C10 over there, but we'll be all right. We'll put them back. We just want to drive this thing down the road one time. But yeah, get this oil change here, and then go from there, I guess. Well, you wouldn't know, ain't nothing gonna be easy. So it's going to pop the oil filter off, you know, real quick, and put the new one on. But put this on there, and it just crunched it up. Whoever put the daggone oil filter on last tightened the absolute hell out of it. So this ought to be fun. I've had this happen before, and it was not fun to get the daggone thing off of there. I'm hoping I don't have to repeat that. It was like whatever this motor was in originally got bottomed out a couple times. It wasn't supposed to rain today. I literally just got home, came in here to chill in the air for a minute. I was just about to put my shoes on and go out there and work on my daddy's truck, and it starts freaking raining. Well, we finally got us another good dry day, so I'll try to see if I can't get this daggone oil filter situation figured out. I'll pull these headers off. Well, this header off on this side anyhow. Just missing a couple bolts. It won't take much to just pull it off. Luckily we ain't got no exhaust or nothing hooked up down below. But I'm just gonna pull that header off, give me a little more room to work with. Alright, so this is what we're working with. I got one of them oil filter wrenches you put on there, and it tightens up as you turn it. But all it did is crunch the daggone oil filter. And it's a little bitty short oil filter at that, so ain't got much to grab a hold to. I had one like this before. I ended up having to cut the daggone oil filter all up. Ended up having to cut all that part up in there where it screws on out. That way I could get to the bolts for the oil filter adapter, the thing that the oil filter screws on. Ended up having to get all that cut out of the way just so I could unbolt all of it and take it off like that. That daggone joker was seized on there. I'm hoping I don't have to do this with that one. I'm going to try a couple of things. Maybe stick a screwdriver through it. The one I had to cut open, tried the screwdriver thing, and it just ripped all the way through it. So I don't think the screwdriver is going to work on this deal, but I'm going to try it. And I got a couple other things I'm going to try. Hopefully we can get it off without too much problems, but I ain't got much hope, I ain't gonna lie. Well guys, I guess I should have had more hope after all. With the header out of the way, it definitely made a difference, but this is what I was using in the first place and crunched it up. But with the header out, I was able to move it all the way to the top where it's strongest at, and I basically just binded up on her with all I had, and she came loose. You can see I had everything out here. I was ready to go at her, but luckily I was able to get it broke loose. Man, I sure always think the worst with crap like this, because I've had bad luck with the daggone stuck oil filters before. But Got lucky on this one. But to keep the oil filter from getting stuck on there like that, I always put a little film of oil on the seal there. And then obviously don't tighten the hell out of it. Just put it on there hand tight, a little snug. Got the header sitting back up there. I'm gonna put our 3 header bolts back in there. And then we'll move on to radiator hoses and whatnot. Try to get a little bit closer to finally taking this thing for a drive. That does remind me, that's one more thing on the list that I need to get is header bolts. Alright, so got the header back on over there. Put a little bit of oil in her. But before I hook up radiator hoses and whatnot, I'm gonna see if we can get this thing to run on its own. Because if we can't get it run on its own and not go dead, then there ain't no sense in worrying about radiator hoses and stuff right now. But the main thing is I want to see how that carburetor is going to act. Alright, got that kind of pointed where I can see it, see if anything's coming out of it. Put a battery on the list of things I need too. But got her hooked up, letting it charge, put a little bit of gas in the tank, see if we can get anything coming out up here. Alright, got something coming out now. Looked kind of nasty to begin with, but it cleaned up. My dumbass forgot to put some nuts on here, and so the daggone pulley started going all sideways and crazy. Ripped that daggone belt up. Gas line hooked up. Now let's see if the carburetor can take it. Seems like it's acting alright to me. I'm gonna run it much longer. Now we need to get some water and all running through her. Alright, well, it's the day after getting my C10 running, so now we're gonna try to get my daddy's going. Got a few little odd end things for it. Thermostat housing. We'll fit and hook up our heater hoses eventually, and battery terminal, stuff like that. So get all this stuff on here and see if this thing will crank back up. I didn't get everything we needed. We still need to get another belt, and I got to get something to be able to hook up the throttle cable, but I guess I'll just rob the thing off my truck for now. I mean, I basically just got what we needed to drive it down the road, which they was out of a lot of stuff. There's a shortage of many things going on right now, unfortunately. Thermostat housing on, I just put a plug in that since we're not hooking up the heater hoses or nothing at this moment. I was gonna get a fancy chrome one, but them jokers are $25, where this one here ain't but $8, so we went with a cheap one. I mean, it don't look too bad anyhow, but I mean, chrome ain't gonna get you home anyhow. So alright, now I just need to get a bottom radiator hose on and find a hot battery, and I still need to rig up something for our throttle. So I've been looking for one of these, you know, to hook up the throttle cable to. I don't know where the original one went that came on this truck, you know, on the original 305. I've been looking everywhere for it, so I just robbed this one off my C10. I got a stick of all thread here with some nuts and washers on it from the Tractor Supply. I was just gonna buy a pack of carb studs, but carburetor studs are $10, and I got this here with 8 nuts and 8 washers for under a couple bucks. So, and instead of just one set, I can cut this up into mini sets. Trying to hurry up, running out of daylight really fast, but we're on the last step now, just adding water. I'm about to fire it up, let it circulate through, top it off, make sure we ain't got no leaks. Got our battery hooked up. Old carburetor still got some fuel in it. Alright, I guess let's see what she'll do. shut her down. I don't see nothing leaking, but I gotta tie that exhaust pipe up over there. Well, I gotta put some tranny fluid in it. It's a little bit low, and I forgot to put a hose on it for the power brakes. We got a little water leak right here, but it ain't too bad. I'll tighten that up, find a hose for that, so we have our power brakes. I put it in gear and I'm about to run myself over. Well, besides stud missing on this side and about 8 header bolts missing, no fan, -2 bolts, half a belt, no exhaust, battery sideways, you know, all that good stuff. It's almost ready to go down the road for the first time, but unfortunately we need to get some tranny fluid, a couple quarts low, so I guess we're gonna have to wait until the morning. We'll get some transmission fluid, and then we'll make our first drive down the road. All right, me and my little man here, we just went to town, got some transmission fluid, about to get her fired up, get her topped off, and then we're gonna try to take her for a little cruise down the road. What's the worst that could happen? We only got half a belt, missing a couple bolts there, no fan, missing about 6 or 7 header bolts, a couple carburetor studs. We got a water leak, so I don't know, ain't too many things that could go wrong. All right, this will be a cold start. A couple pumps. Made it down the road and back. I'd say that first drive was half-assed at best, but what do you expect whenever you got it all put together half-assed? But I always like to drive them down the road before I get everything on it and all that good stuff. That way, if there's any kind of major problems, you can try to fix that before you get it all together and think it's ready to go. And it looks like one of the problems is our brake calipers. This side over here is locking up pretty bad. This one over here was pretty hot when we got back, just from going down the road, just right down the road back, probably not even a mile altogether. This side over here is locking up a little bit. I noticed we ain't got very much for power brakes, and I figured that's probably because I'm missing a stud on the side. Vacuum line right there undone, and this is a square bore carburetor on a spread bore intake, so it could be sucking a little bit of air around there somewhere, ain't no telling. And that carburetor just needs to be cleaned out from whenever I got it. It had a little bit of water sitting in it, so it had got a little rusty. I sprayed it out a little bit, but I didn't go through it or nothing. I still need to do that. Got to get some header bolts. I mean, there's still plenty to be done, but first drive was half-assed successful, I could say. And the next time we take it down the road, we're gonna have power steering and all on it, carburetor right. We'll have bolts and everything all tightened up. Hopefully have exhaust on it, and have a battery in it that actually fits. Now we just need to address the few little problems that we got. And I still got to find the right throttle bracket so I can hook up the, well, I guess I can hook up the kick down cable with that one, but I robbed this one off of my truck, so we got to get one for this one. Yeah, there's still plenty to be done. Oh yeah, we need to get a belt too. Maybe we can do a burnout in the next one, but I'm ending this one off here. Y'all just like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more later.